Alright guys, Hatchcomic again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Huge announcements last night for the future of Call of Duty. Skill-based matchmaking officially gone, according to Treyarch, after years of arguably ruining the franchise. That is now very much out of the picture, in addition to an apparent reduction in aim assist by the time Black Ops 7 properly comes around. This is what many of us have been asking for a very long time at this point. Lots of reaction from the pros, from others as well. Does it mean COD is back? Not necessarily, for some reasons we will get into. Some roster drama on the day as well, with Cloud9 maybe locking in their four-man team, according to ZooMaa. Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Plenty to get into. We're going to start it. So over the last few days, with the beta coming to a close, there have been lots of reaction to say, okay, what should COD look like going forward? Is Black Ops 7 moving in the right direction? Scump and many others have said, look, the game is definitely better, I think, from what most of us, at least from a competitive perspective, would want to see going forward. And Nature has said, well, look, why can't we have Battlefield 6 every single year? Because that's actually pushing the developers of Call of Duty to make some better decisions rather than just resting on their laurels. But as we know, Battlefield will be a game that features relatively well to a very much more so casual audience, right? Well, we've seen it already, the reaction to Black Ops 7, in the same way that the reaction to the jetpack era for more casual players was negative, and it still is in hindsight. Definitely from a competitive Call of Duty perspective, I love watching and playing those games, likely because many of us watching this video, you know, we've played COD for a long time. We're not bad. So, you know, the jetpack games, you could world start people, right? And some people enjoyed that. Some people didn't enjoy it so much. There's a reason why the following games, they got rid of that. They went in a different direction. And this game will definitely cater to one side of that more so than the other. Is it going to be great for us to watch as a competitive scene? Absolutely yes, but I do think that Battlefield is gathering some serious momentum, and as a result it feels like Call of Duty want to try and find a way to, well, first of all, actually listen to some feedback, which is nice, but also move their game in a slightly different direction, listen to a certain audience, and try and find a way to still help COD compete with Battlefield. Because, you know, right now the beta numbers, whatever, Battlefield versus Call of Duty, it looks pretty good for Battlefield. I think there is a reason why these changes that we saw last night have been announced, and it feels like, you know, they're trying what they can to actually make this COD successful, which I hope that it will be, because I think that it does have the makings of one of the best CODs in a long time. But there is serious competition this year, and without that, I don't think we get the announcements of last night. Now, yesterday we talked about what Shotzzy had to say on the time to kill, thinking it's too fast. And as I mentioned yesterday, that is to some extent aligned with the level of aim assist that we now have in COD. I mentioned it in detail yesterday back in the day, and yeah, the time to kills in the early games were quick. In Ghosts, you died in, I think the time to kill in that game was like 140 milliseconds. 3 bullets with the Vector would wipe you straight out, and the aim assist wasn't incredibly weak on that game, but it certainly got stronger over time. And nowadays you can clearly tell, I mean, we saw some of the numbers from Parasite, and I think even Octane put some of his numbers up, but Parasite put up his stats with the SMG, the Ryzen, whatever he's using, and he had 40% accuracy with it, which would just not be possible back in the day. So yeah, time to kill is a discussion, but I think the main talking point that many players and fans have had over the last few years is just, it's easy to shoot nowadays. Everyone shoots pretty straight, all the pros. You can still to some degree tell the better pro players from the weaker pro players, but not as much as it used to be back in the day. And I think many of us have been wanting a weaker level of aim assist for some time. That is something that they say they're going to do when the full game launches. So yesterday, Treyarch come out and say this. With the beta wrapping up, we've got some big updates to share for launch. They dropped this article. This is what they have to say. I mean, these are the four main things, really, so we'll just get into them. Matchmaking update. This, to me, is so remarkable, because for years we have been told that, well, skill-based matchmaking, I know you don't like it, but it works, right? The data apparently says that casuals play more with skill-based matchmaking, right? Now, I think many of us have wondered whether that's truly the case. I don't think human nature has necessarily changed over the last few years since skill-based matchmaking used to become a thing. Like, when I first played COD, I was atrocious, and I'd see people drop in, you know, nukes or whatever, and be like, damn, how do I get that good? And by playing a lot of COD and watching and learning and whatever, you get better, and because you get better, you start to be able to drop nukes on people, drop chopper gunners, whatever, and you know, actually get better and improve. But with skill-based matchmaking, what's the point improving? Because it doesn't matter. You drop a 1 KD anyway. You get better, unless you're playing ranked, in which case your rank goes up. SBMM just ruins the whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to dive into the details again, everyone knows this, right? But it's still frustrating because for newer players, it's like, well, why would I even try harder to get better or feel any sort of motivation to, because it's not going to matter anyway. My lobbies still break and I get put in a better lobby if I have a good game. So, look, it's been a thing for years. It's frustrated many. And yeah, many of us, we get older. We don't play as much COD as we used to. It is what it is. But I definitely think SBMM has been a part of that. And they say yesterday, at launch, open matchmaking with minimal skill consideration, kind of how it used to be back in the day, will be the default for BO7 multiplayer, because they tried it in the open mosh pit. Again, I wondered whether that would just be for a mosh pit game mode, but then of course, you know, the brand new players, they're never going to play that, are they? Because they're going to probably understandably want to get put with players of their own skill, because on paper it makes it easier. But as I say, in the long run, it's actually better to throw them in with the Lions, in my opinion anyway. So our team feels strongly about providing players with a more varied experience. The beta proved to be a great opportunity to test this, and seemingly enough that they're going to double down on it. Persistent lobbies. I don't think anyone really likes their lobbies to disband because it gives you a certain impression. And they say they will be focusing on keeping players together. And also, I know there's many of you out there who have friends in real life, or even just online friends, that you've gained through playing COD back in the day, right? It's certainly the case for me, that, you know, you stumble across people in pubs or in ranked play or whatever, and you actually play a few games with them, and maybe you then party up afterwards. And, you know, there's great stories about this. And it's not really, okay, this isn't really relevant to competitive COD, but it is still important, I think, that breaking the lobbies every time ruins something about the culture of what made Call of Duty back in the day. They then talk about aim assist. Now this for us is probably the big one. We've also seen discussions about rotational aim assist and community questions about how aim assist will be tuned across Black Ops 7. It is a priority of ours to have a fair and competitive balance. We'll be sharing more about changes coming to aim assist and controller ahead of launch. So they don't say precisely that they're going to reduce it, but the discussions have been almost explicitly that the aim assist is too strong. So if they're talking about that they're considering what that looks like and whether they're going to change it, then I think it's pretty clear that they're only moving that one direction, right? If they do move the needle, it's only going to be a reduction to aim assist, which is probably only going to be a good thing. They also talk about Ricochet as well. Now, I'll just quickly find the Ricochet tweets, it's a little bit later on, but they talk about the cheaters and the, well, apparently they're dealing with them much better. So on the first day, 2.5% of games had no cheaters in, which is, look, it's still a decent amount of lobbies that had cheaters, given it was literally the first day of the beta. But on the 5th day, that went down to only 1.2%. Now, that doesn't mean that 1% of players are cheating precisely. I mean, you can take a 1/12 of that, right? Because presumably only one cheater in a lobby. But the point is that apparently Ricochet is actually working. Now, like, they talk a good game, don't they? So we'll see how it works when the game launches. But, you know, apparently Ricochet adapted to the cheaters in the game. It stopped them quicker, prevented them quicker. That, you know, they talk about years of investment and refinement. So who knows? Maybe Ricochet's actually working this time and it's going to help purge the game of cheaters finally. Treyarch say open matchmaking is in. The whole community was really happy about this. As I say, it's not super specific to competitive play, but it is probably going to make the game a better experience. And it's just surprising that it's kind of taken the competition from Battlefield for COD to be like, okay, maybe we do need to try something different. Now, another remarkable piece of this story is this. So this guy, Brian Bright, who used to work for Infinity Ward, made it clear in a few posts that the Infinite Warfare developers, they were the ones that were pushing for this. It actually, we've kind of thought that, oh, well, it was the Activision executives, they looked at the data and they made their decision. But apparently Infinity Ward convinced the Activision executives to make this decision. That's, you know, even the, I mean, it's classic, isn't it, right? Like, Infinity Ward have ruined COD in so many ways. The fact that they believed that SBMM was better, I mean, this is Joe Seacott's legacy. He went to, it seems, the Activision executives and then forced that on all the other developers, even though Treyarch and Sledgehammer haven't wanted to do this. He actually went into some further detail here. You know, Courage was talking about it, and he says, the devs at Infinity Ward made this decision. I was pushing back, but unfortunately I wasn't working on multiplayer. I remember specifically arguing this during Infinite Warfare development. I likened the lobby to a corner bar, and, you know, he was talking as well about people making friends and stuff. So, kind of crazy that Infinity Ward's seemingly played a big part in making this happen, and now after years, and as JP says, the data, right? What about the data that said that this was better for everyone? But apparently it looks like, you know, they need the emergency key. That's what they're going to do. So lots of reaction. Octane says full cope engaged, Call of Duty is back. And you know, attaches like Traeger singularly revived COD. All jokes aside, it's going to be the best COD of all time. And look, there's some reason to believe that at least they're making some very positive changes here. Attaches, I was right, finally the best COD ever. Scump even tweets this out, of course, the screenshot from the famous Sweatban and 88-0 video from Black Ops 2 on Rage, where skill-based matchmaking was certainly not a thing. And look, SBMM has been around a long time. Like, I remember, I think it was really Advanced Warfare that I first remember, like, properly feeling the skill-based matchmaking, but it wasn't maybe as strong back then, and certainly during the Jetpack era, like Infinite Warfare, as much as Infinity Ward were pushing for it, there wasn't that much skill-based matchmaking in pubs to my memory. But over the last few years, it's been a disaster. And I think that mainly what happened, really, is Modern Warfare 19 came out. Most of us would agree, not the best COD of all time. But it killed it because of the pandemic, right? So I guess the Activision executives were like, damn, Infinity Ward, they must be cooking up a storm. Whatever they say must go because they've just delivered a banger COD. But, of course, without the pandemic, that probably never happens. So, especially with Warzone releasing at the same time, it was all kind of a perfect storm. So, as Zinni says, no SBMM, cheaters getting banned quick, great new maps, fun new wall bounce mechanic, dare I say it, you know, like, is Call of Duty officially back? So, intrude to your thoughts in the comments below. ZooMaa did have a little bit of a talk about it as well. I'll share a couple of clips here from ZooMaa. He says, look, if they are going to lower the aim assist, you guys are screwed, but it's probably going to be good to watch as a competitive scene. So, I'll share this clip. I'll also share what he has to say on Cloud9, and then we'll talk about that to close the video.
Launch, and we'll be sharing more about changes coming to aim assist on controller ahead of launch. Unbelievable. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. Listen, guys, and this is me just like, bro, you guys know that I'm honest with you guys, you know, and I just kind of say it how it is. If they lower the aim assist a little bit, a lot of you guys are fucked. A lot of you guys, like a lot of you guys are not gonna be able to shoot straight. It's gonna be like, bro, it's gonna be bad, bro. It's gonna be really bad. Like a lot of you guys are gonna be, it's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? I could leak it, but dude, I don't think I should leak it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I should leak it just because it's Gwyn. All right, it's Gwyn. It's what I heard. Heard it from sources in house. Been talking around on what people are doing. It's Gwyn, guys. Guys, it's Gwyn. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing that it's Gwyn. It's going to be Gwyn, Afro, Beans, and Abe. That's what I'm hearing, bro. That's what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm hearing, guys. Guys, what do you think?
So ZooMaa says this could be the team of four. Beans, Afro, they have announced, well, they've contract signing GIF has hit the timeline, so presumably they're probably in. Abe, I'm not seeing anything I don't think from yet, but he's apparently going to be the third. Then they're looking for a fourth. Now, we kind of presumed that Abe and Afro would probably run the subs, Beans on the flex, faster AR, whatever, and then they might look for a main AR. People will say, okay, could Sasha be an option? Are there other options? I mean, there's not really too many veteran ARs left. Maybe you don't need that anymore. Maybe you go a different route. Maybe that's what Cloud9 are considering, bringing in Gwyn, right? I mean, it's an interesting one. If this is the team they form, I have my questions on leadership and, you know, search and destroy maybe, and some stuff like that. But I do think that given their availability on the market, these are some pretty good players that they've put together, given what they were trying to achieve, I think. Now, the question is this actually going to happen? Because I'm not so convinced. Ronnie comes out and says that this could have been possible, but he doesn't think this is actually going to happen. So I'm not sure 100% what's happening here, but we do know that the other day, Legends was linked to Surge and Gwyn was linked there as well. Now, of course, things could have changed, but the rumour was that Gwyn wanted to go and play with Legend wherever he goes. And if Legend from Halo goes to Surge, then Gwyn wants to go there as well. He has offers from Rocker, he has offers elsewhere potentially too. But Gwyn wanted to go with Legend over there. And we don't know what Ravens are cooking. We don't know if they're going to become Space Station. I mean, really, we have no idea what's happening on that front. Does this mean that Slasher and TJ are running it back again on the Ravens? I don't know. Possibly. Tweet your thoughts in the comments. Ronnie also tweeted this out. Surge is back, right? So, yeah, maybe they have done something there. So, yeah, I don't know. Keep that in mind that maybe Gwyn as a fourth to that Beans, Abe, and Afro trio could be an option, but it doesn't seem exactly guaranteed right now. So we'll see what happens over the coming days. Very much into your thoughts, as always, and all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.